Hi, Dave.
Good afternoon, Dave.
I was just checking in on Muncy to see if you feel like it's serious or is this just a one-day off thing?
I don't think it's serious. It potentially could affect tomorrow and potentially might just give him Monday, obviously with Monday being the off day, and get him ready for Tuesday. So right now, I just want to stay at day to day. But to your earlier question, I don't think it's serious.
Dave, I wasn't clear last night. Is it a sprained ankle or is it just like a sharp pain in his ankle?
I would probably put it under the category of a mild sprain.
Okay. As far as Kershaw today, you've managed him now for a number of years. You've seen the career arc. What has impressed you the most about the way he's been able to be as consistent as possible?
Not really amazed me. It's kind of what has allowed for him to be consistent is his work in between starts. And I think that everything he does is very intentional. So when he doesn't have his best stuff or feel his best, he can still go out there each turn and give us a chance to win. As far as kind of pitch mix, I think that we've all seen over the last couple of years, he's throwing more curveballs, using both sides of the plate, changing eye level. So he's evolving. But I think that understanding Clayton knows better than anybody who he is as a pitcher. And, he trusts his strengths.
Dave, what were the combination of things that forced him or made him inclined to change and deviate from what made him successful the first part of his career? Was it the data? Was it you constantly on him? What was it?
I think it's all of it is a combo. I think Clayton is very, very cerebral, very aware of kind of what he can do, what hitters are trying to do to him. So I think that as any player's career evolves, there's some, as far as velocity per se, he doesn't throw, there's not sixes and sevens anymore. So to think that you can continue to bully guys, glove side, he understands that the margin is not as great as it used to be. And so now you got to kind of mix and sequence a little bit more to still go to your strengths. So I think that's part of it. And I think that hitters, more than anything, kind of tell you how you need to adjust, but then you layer in on conversations and data as well.
Thank you, Dave.
Yeah.
Next question is Bill Plunkett, or question from Jorge Castillo. Go ahead.
Dave, with Clayton, you mentioned he just works. How much has his work between starts changed in terms of what he does or the intensity level? I mean, he's getting older like everybody else, right? So does he change anything between starts?
I think it's just not as, and this is something over the course of the last couple, 2-3 years, actually, and I think that Clayton is continuing to be open to evolving, which I think all great people and athletes have that mindset. But I think it's just not as much. Running is one part of it, which is the pounding on the body. And I think also just kind of the heavy weights that he used to do when I first got here. I don't see him doing as much. And so he's just very in tune with his body and what allows him to make starts consistently.
Yesterday, you guys activated and optioned Brusdar. Just wondering what was the reason for that?
Well, Brusdar was obviously a huge part of what we did last year. He is going to be a huge part of what we're going to do this year. We just feel right now where he's at, it's a finishing school. The arm he's healthy, ball's coming out, but the slider is not as consistent as it needs to be to get major league hitters out consistently. And the sinker is not commanded the way it needs to be. So I think that the option just allows for him to have a clear path to go out there and pitch regularly and get the sinker, down in the zone and continue to work on that slider. And then when he does that, then I expect to see him.
Has there been a drop off since last year, or is this more
Yeah.
you guys? Okay.
Yeah, the slider last year really wasn't, something where he kind of thrust onto the scene. And the location of the two-seamer was at the bottom of the zone more consistently and boring in on the right-hand hitters, where it hasn't done that this year, even in rehab assignments. And the slider just hasn't been consistent.
Is he healthy?
He is healthy.
And how much do you think this is a matter of what happened during the offseason, the late start, kind of the weird spring
I think
training?
that's a big part of it. And I think that's a big part of it. I think that some of the things were out of Brusdar's control. Some things, to be quite frank, were in his control. So, but it's where we're at right now. And how do we go from here to there? And this is what we feel is best for him and the Dodgers.
And when you have a young guy like that who had the success that he had last year on that stage, the World Series, to get optioned to AAA, do you have to maybe manage the, his head a little bit and make sure he doesn't get down on himself?
I talked to him. I talked to him yesterday, and just reassured him that he's a part of our plans, but he's still got things to take care of, and he understood our decision, and sort of challenge, but knowing we're a much better ball club when he's on our active roster. We understand that.
Thank you, Dave.
Yeah.
Questions for Bill Plunkett, but go ahead, Bill. Questions from Rowan Kavner, go ahead.
Hey, Dave, along the Brusdar lines, do you think those kind of fixes he needs to make are mechanical, or more just a matter of he just needs to go pitch and kind of figure it out that way?
I think it's a combo, kind of like all things, but the bottom line is he's got to go out there and pitch and pitch consistently, face competition, and get guys out. And when he does that, and execute pitches, and when he does that, so I think that our guys consistently stand on top of the mechanics, but it's still a combo of just going out there and getting consistent appearances.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Try this one again. Go ahead, Bill. Next question is from Max.
Hey, Dave. Just wondering, is there still taxi squad when you guys go on road trips? And if so, who's on your?
There isn't, Eric. No taxi squads now.
Okay, it's just straight. You back and forth to the minors now.
Yeah, but we're actually gonna activate Tony Gontlin, so he is actually here with us. So it's kind of under the you're gonna activate him IL sort of situation.
And then just wondering as well, I know this is still like 5 weeks away, but at what point have you already started considering who you might other managers you might have on your all-star coaching staff, and how does that sort of process work?
I have, and yeah, so I do know that I expect Buddy Black, who is going to be the home manager, obviously in Denver, to be with me on my staff. I've reached out to George Lombard because he was obviously on the staff last year, but as I understand it, he might decline because he's in another league, another team, which we completely understand and respect. And there's another one, Eric, that is going to be an honorary manager that I'm going to kind of hold off right now.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you.
Hey, Dave, I'm going to ask Bill's question for him since he's right here and his computer isn't working. He just wants to know if Max Muncy has gone any tests, any x-rays or anything.
He has not had any x-rays. There's been some manual tests. So today it was more stiffness, not any pain. And so we just felt that giving him another day of treatment, hopefully, we'll know more tomorrow, but we didn't do any tests outside of more manual.